Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy, every motherfucking Cuban. We got a special guest in the house, but I always have to sip on some. 805, I'm waiting for my sponsorship, man. I'm waiting for my sponsorship. And then Buffalo Trace, too, man. Like, one of my favorite whiskeys. I need a sponsorship, too. Because, I've been putting everybody on you guys' shit, and you guys haven't tell me anything. So I need at least a free bottle or something. 805 too, man. But we got a special guest in the house. I told you guys, always comes back to fighting, man. It's always coming back to fighting. This is we got a special guest. But let me take a sip and then we start. And that's why I need to go back to training because I'm getting fat. But we got Keana in the house, MMA fighter. Again, I'm telling you, this podcast always comes back to fighting, and I think it's just gonna stick to a fighting podcast. But Keana, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Get closer.
To be here.
Yeah,
right here?
Okay. Close to the mic. Like you almost have to be like
all up on it.
Yeah. Don't worry, I spray it down after everybody comes and uses it. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, just taking it easy right now.
How's the training?
Pretty good. So that's the thing. So I started the year off. I last fought in December, and that was cool. And I'm usually like always just ready to go.
Yeah.
Always want to stay competing. And I hurt my elbow recently. Man. So I signed like beginning of the month. I was like, you know what, we're gonna stay busy. I signed up for 2 tournaments this month. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do either of them now. You know.
Oh man.
So that was a little setback, and I was like, damn. And so that kind of forced me to just like chill out. I kind of argued my coach to still do it. Yeah. And he's like, Keana, no, like don't be impulsive, be smart, just chill, you know. And I was like, all right. Shit. And I was like, dude, I got a week and a half for it to get better. He's like, it's not gonna get better.
What tournament? Like jiu-jitsu tournaments?
Yeah, JJ World League.
Yeah.
And then just like a small in-house one next month. But
that's what's up.
Yeah, that weekend I'm actually gonna be out in Vegas visiting some family. Okay. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna get some training while I'm out there. So I want to go check out Extreme Couture.
Oh, that's where my cousin used to train at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got beat up. Shout out to my cousin, and he said, "No more. I don't want to fight no more." But let me explain to you what the WOODZ is. Is where you at. It's where I grew up. It's where you could say it's my hood. It's what made me and my friend Mario started the podcast. And we used to live. Well, he used to live here, not no more. I'm the only one that still lives here. Okay. But this is the WOODZ. Like if you would text me like, "Hey, B, where you at?" I'm in the WOODZ. Okay. So this is the WOODZ, and this. I fought so many people in this apartment, so it always comes back to fighting. Always, every time we talk about the WOODZ, it's like, oh, remember we used to fight in the corner or in the wash, or we didn't do stupid stuff. But where do you stay at?
In Menifee.
Menifee, that's where you grew up in Menifee? No,
I was actually born and raised in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Me too. I was born in Vegas, but to be honest, I don't know because I was just so I was born. We moved. My mom and dad got divorced, and I went with my grandma, and my grandma went everywhere. Okay. So I spent time in Florida, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Mexico. Then I ended up with my dad in Vegas, but he used to stay, North Las Vegas, I want to say.
That's where I recently moved from. I was born in Summerlin, and then I kind of just lived all over. And then before I moved to First Marietta, I was in what they call like Northtown. And so I was in that area, and I can't remember like. God, it's been a while, so I can't really remember so much like streets and stuff. I just know I was like near like Mojave High School in that area.
Oh shit, no! Like I to be honest, I hate Vegas.
Same, I hate it.
I can't stand it.
I would never move back. Ever.
Hell no! I mean, like I still got mad family over there. Yeah. And like they're like, oh, Abraham, when you come visit? Never.
There's nothing to do.
No, I was tell people that.
Kid growing up.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like growing up in Vegas is like going to Circus and that's it. Literally. Or going to the movies, going to what's
Walking
that?
Out Adventure Dome with your friends.
Or going to the casino with the what is it called with the coyote show?
With which show?
The coyote, when the coyote comes out, like it's a fuck. What is it?
Are you talking about the one with the lions? I don't know about a coyote.
No, it's a coyote. It's on the top of the mountain and like it comes out.
I don't know this one.
Oh man, town.
It's gonna hit you when you least expect it.
Yeah, but it has a movie theater and it has a bowling alley. So we used to go over there and it was another one called Sun something Casino, and it had like an ice skating ring and a bowling alley.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I moved out of there my freshman year. So I don't remember too much.
The only reason why I remember because when we moved over here with my mom's, we used to go every summer. Me, because my brother was like, nah. My mom was like, oh, your brother could stay. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to stay too. But he's like, you have to go visit your dad. So like every summer I used to go. Every summer I used to go to Vegas or Miami. Okay. So, but Vegas I had to go stay with my dad for a week, and then I could go anywhere else.
Then go have fun.
Yeah. But I tell people like Vegas is not like first me I don't like it because it's just bad memories. Mm-hmm. So I don't even like even when I go I tell my wife is like, man, I just being here like it brings me that depression back over here. Like
I feel in such a slump whenever I go visit. Like, I don't miss that environment. And then also like moving to California, like there's hills, there's trees, there's greenery. I don't like being in that flat ground in Vegas. It just that's and all I knew. Heat. It's just fuck, man. And I remember going to school in like 110 degree weather and stuff.
Did you guys have inside school?
Because a lot of my schools were outdoors.
What? Mm-hmm. My school that I went to was inside school. So like everything was inside. Like the only time we went outside was for PE.
Mine were all.
But like when you're in high school, high school, like elementary, did you guys go to different classes? Because I swear to God, I tell my wife, I was like, yes. Like you'll go to art class and then you go to PE and then you go to a computer class.
I get hit in the head a lot. My memory's shot. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's different classes for different, like, whatever you were learning, like, art room, a PE room, and this, that room, So
I was telling my wife that, and he was like, so you had, like, 6 periods? And I was like, no, it was just, like, so you will go, so, like, if it was PE, you go to it, but you had a different teacher. Yeah. And she goes, what? And I was like, yeah, so you go.
Is that not a thing out here?
No.
What?
No, you got, like, you do PE with your regular teacher. Like, what? Yeah, she'll take you out.
No, there's an art teacher, a music teacher, a PE teacher. Yeah. That's crazy.
So my wife is a teacher.
Okay.
So she was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, so she has to do PE with them, like all that shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, over there in Vegas, like you go to a class to go do PE.
Yeah.
And then especially because it's hot, like fucking 200 degrees out there, you had to stay inside. And then he's like, what do you guys would do? I was like, we'll just fucking run around this big ass room. Mm-hmm. And then like.
Yeah, just a big room and just like play dodgeball in there. Yeah. Or something. Like they find something for us to do.
We had a big ass ball. Like it was a bit, and we just started around. But and then you go to an art class, and I remember art class. Like my dad was pissed off because I signed up to like sell chocolates, but I didn't know what the fuck I was signing up for. I was like in 2nd grade, 1st grade.
Yeah.
So they gave me this big, like 2 big ass boxes. He's like, you have to sell them by the end of the month. I was like, oh shit. So my dad went back. He's like, you know what? He didn't tell me none of this, and he's like, well, you have to pay for them.
Oh,
I was like, shit. And then my dad was like, how much is this? $1 a piece. And it was like, I think 50. So I was like, $100. And my dad was like, $100 is a lot back then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's like, you're one to talk. It's not coming out of your pocket.
And then I was bad over there. Like with my dad, I was super bad.
Yeah.
I used to fight a lot. I moved over here and it was like, I was a whole different kid.
Just a saint all of a sudden.
Yeah. My mom was like, why your dad used to say like, and then like my teachers would take everything literally like seriously. Like I would say, oh, like I had a dream that my house burned down, and they'll call my dad and was like, hey, like your son is saying that his house burned down, and my dad like they would like pull me in the office and was like, are you guys okay? And I'm like, what? Yeah, what was going on? So then like my mom came and visit us, and she brought me a monkey.
Okay.
Right. So I went home. I went to school and I said, hey, I got a monkey's from China because the tag said made in China.
Yeah.
So like they fucking call my dad in and like, hey, like your kid is saying he has a monkey.
Isn't that a thing in Vegas though, where it is legal to get?
Yes, legal to get monkeys.
Do you remember the swap meet that had the monkeys?
I remember a swap meet that had like animals, but I can't remember monkeys.
That's like one of my main like things about Vegas. I remember being younger, and there was that one swap meet. Oh God, what was it called?
I know it was like the
Broad Acres.
No, I didn't. No, okay. It was an.
Though they had these 2 monkeys that they always switched out between, and the monkeys yes, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that because there was another one. I think it was like Sanderson or dollars.
Yeah, it was Sanderson. Swami. Sanderson. I think so. That's the street, but there's a big ass Swami. But I remember that one. I remember the monkeys. But yeah, that's where I started fighting.
Okay.
So then I came over here. And I was like the perfect kid because I was like, I don't want my mom to get rid of me. Like I don't want my mom. Like I don't want to go back to Vegas. I was like, I want my mom to be like, oh, this guy's good. So then like I started going to school, and I'm like, all right. People were like, oh, look at this. Like I was little, I was tiny, big ass head, and then like people would like bully me. So I'm like, all right. I was like, man, like you guys don't even know
That's how my teammates would describe me now.
A bully?
No, they're always little with a big ass head. They all clown on me.
Oh shit. Yeah. So that's what got me into fighting. I think it was just more like bullying.
Okay.
But what got you into fighting? Like.
Totally nothing even close to that. I've never been in a street fight, never nothing.
What?
I'm not like a confrontational person like that.
That's crazy.
I don't like fighting, none of that. I got forced into fighting.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so I was a really, really like hypersensitive little kid, you know, just very sensitive. I'm the youngest of all my siblings.
How many siblings do you have?
Two. I have two older sisters, but I'm the youngest by 8 years. And I mean, so we didn't really have reasons to fight and all that. Yeah. So I was just babied all around, you know, I was soft. And so I have a mom who, like, she's very tough, you know. She's always wanted boys. Like, she's just tough. She's a sports mom, this and that. Mm-hmm. And they were just fed up. Well, she was just fed up with how sensitive I was. So she's like, you know, you're going to Taekwondo. And so they put me in Taekwondo. And my master at the time, he was, like, this really strict guy from South Korea. And, like, did not play around. And I was miserable. I hated it. I cried every day on the way to practice. I hated it. And she was like, well, you're not allowed to quit until you at least get your, I don't remember what color belt, maybe yellow or the one after that. But she's like, no, you're going to stay in it for a while. And I hated it. I still hated it so much, but I ended up being good at it. Yeah, surprisingly, being my first time like in a sport, I picked up on it really good. Okay. And so I did that for a while. And then there was one day we were sparring and there's these two twins. And like, I remember I was always like pretty decently leveled with them. And I made one of them cry. And I figured out that day, hey, I like this. Yeah. So that sparked something in me. And I ended up like taking it more serious and staying in it for 5 years, actually. Oh, nice. Taekwondo, that's where you started. Yeah. Okay. So I did Taekwondo for 5 years, starting at when I was 7 years old. And then we moved, and oh god, I can't remember what area, but I remember then I switched to another Taekwondo studio, and I was there. But then right across the street, there was
this in Vegas or was this okay?
And so right across the street opened before UFC gyms were UFC gyms. It used to be LA Boxing. So an LA Boxing opened right across the street, and I was curious, like, hey, like what's that about, you know? So I checked it out. And I ended up really liking that. So then I switched over to boxing, which I wish I would have finished. And I was 3 belts away from black. I wish I would have finished that. That's one of my biggest regrets. But it was a good foundation. Yeah. So then I started with that. And then boxing led into, like, curious about, like, okay, like, what's that wrestling they're doing over there? Jiu-jitsu. So then I eased into that. And it all just kept, like, one thing leading into another until I was finally like, hey, I want to get in the cage.
Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. I started with boxing. I started boxing because I was gang banging. I was doing dumb shit. And my cousin used to fight, and he was good. He was like up in Apple Valley, and he was good. He was doing his thing, and I'm a southpaw. So when he had problems with southpaws, so every time he had a opponent that was southpaw, my uncle would call me and say, "Hey, can you come and train with us?" Yeah. I'd be like, "Nah," and like I already had like, "Oh man, I gotta do some stuff." And he's like, "Nah, you coming?" And I'm like, I was fucking 8 years old, like, you know, trying to be a game banger and shit. Yeah. And then he's like, nah, he's like, you coming? And I was like, all right. And so he called my mom. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go pick Abraham up for the weekend. My mom was all right, cool. So he would take me up to the Apple Valley. Me and my cousin would get down. So then after that, I was like, you know what? To my mom, I really want to box. I want to get into it. So she's all right. So she put me on boxing. It was like in Paris, and then a great coach, but he was fighting us for money. Like, so our fights were like booked for money. So my mom ended up finding out. A little bit doing that. And so my mom was like, all right, hey, like, if you're going to fight him, give him $10. Give her the fuck with. Oh, I can't do that. I would lose my license if I get caught or whatever. And I'm like, so my mom was, all right, he ain't fighting for you. Boom. Took me out. I didn't go back to box. I didn't go back to, like, fighting until I got out of high school. So I was boxing and doing fucking football. Okay. And I was like, man, I told my mom, and so the UFC started popping, like, the UFC started going off, and I'm like, man, I watched my first fight. It was like Chuck Liddell and what's his name, Tito Ortiz. Okay. I seen that fight. I was like, I want to do that. Like, I could do that because me and my cousin would wrestle outside. Like, so I was like, I want to do that. So I started watching YouTube. I learned how to do armbar on YouTube. Nice. So I was like, okay, cool, boom. I did it on my cousin. My cousin, man, you always fucking me up, whatever. So I told my mom it was like my senior year. Like, I only had like probably like two more like, was it my senior year? I think it was my senior year because I was almost out of it was probably my last 2 months of my school. Excuse me. And I said, Mom, put me on this. And my mom's like, oh, I don't have money. Like, it's too much money. Because I went I used to train at United Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. So I went to get the paperwork, and I was like, Mom, this is too much money. Fuck. Call my pops. I was like, hey, Dad. And my dad is like, he's super religious, so he's like, no, I don't want no. That's the devil's sport, whatever. I said, man, I was so like this. I was like, oh, like broke hearted. Yeah, I was like broken hearted. So then my wife was like, why don't you ask my mom? And then like, I mean, you find a way to get money and you just pay her. And then I was like, so I went and asked my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was not having it. He's like, nah, I don't want you to fight because at the end of the day, you're not going to have teeth and your face is going to be all messed up. You're going to be stupid when you. I said, thing you hear, yeah. I said, all right, fuck. I was like, so I'm like, all right, whatever. I got out of high school, got my first job, my first paycheck. I went to sign up.
Nice.
So I was like, I was so happy. I was like, heck yeah. Like, I was like, that like, it helped me when I was going, because I was in super deep depression. One of my cousins got killed. I was super, and then like boxing would take me out of it. Like, I was doing like everything in the book. I was sniffing coke. I was doing everything. I was drinking. I was doing everything in the book because I was like, I just wanted that pain to go away. And then at one period, my mom wasn't home, so like I only see my mom like probably one time a week, and it was like for only like 30 minutes. And then like my grandma was taking care of us, and I'm like, man, like I feel like I'm not loved. So I was like, man, fuck. And so I was doing all this drugs and shit. And my cousin was like, man, you wasting your time here. You could fight. So I'm like, all right, fam, let me stop. So then that's when I first started going. But when was your first fight? Like when you actually hop on the what's your record?
I'm 7-1.
7-1, and that's in the cage.
Yeah.
And you amateur right now?
Yeah, still an amateur. Yeah, so in the cage 7-1. I've had one Muay Thai fight that I won, and then I've had about over 30 jiu-jitsu tournaments.
I love jiu-jitsu.
I love jiu-jitsu.
I love
it. But yeah, my first fight was like as soon as I turned 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started taking like MMA training more seriously, putting it all together around like 16, 17. And then as soon as I turned 18, within, I want to say that same year or the following, they let me do my first fight. Oh. So I hopped right into it pretty early.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, 6 of my fights, 5 or 6 of them were all within 1 year. I was fighting like every 2 months.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you wasn't getting hurt like at all?
I wasn't getting hurt.
Okay.
I had to walk out of a few fights, like I say this as humbly as possible, without getting hit, you know? And so I was like, all right, cool. Like, when's the next one? But then doing that over time, by my 6th fight, my 5th or my 6th fight, I had like a knee effusion for a while that I just kept kind of ignoring, pushing off. And so finally that caught up to me. And just because I kept like putting myself in training camp, even though I wasn't getting hurt in the cage, training camp's still a lot on you. A lot. And so that finally made me slow down for 3 years. I wasn't fighting. Oh, man. And so just within last year, I got back into it. And I've had 2 fights since last year. And now I'm just waiting for the next one.
You fighting with, what's your promoter? Is it a Gladiator?
I've done a few different. I've done Gladiator. I've done Summer Fist, which was at the Del Mar Fair. That one was really cool. It was in the big paddock area, so anyone who went to the fair, you could go see the fights for free. So that was really fun. I fought out in Fresno for 559 fights. I've fought. Oh, there's another one I'm forgetting. Mainly like Gladiator and Cage Wars and stuff like that. So
I fucking hate Gladiator.
I'm over it. I
don't fucking hate Gladiator.
It was cool to start and get my feet wet and get used to this and that, but now I'm just like, this is
Camel. Is that still going?
Yeah, Camo's still a thing. So a lot of these like bigger promotion stuff, those are camo sanctioned. That's the thing about like Gladiator and stuff like that. They're not camo sanctioned. Yeah, and I don't like that.
Cause I was I was gonna have a fight, and then my coach got us into camo. So I was like, they did the whole 9. Like they did my whole fucking blood physical, test, everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh. And then my coach was like, you're not doing any drugs. And I was like, nah. But I'm just like. I was like, I'm just weirded out. Like, this is like fucking Gladiators, like just weigh in and that's it.
And which I don't like though, because I think about it like when I get in there, all the blood that's on the mats and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's sketchy. Exactly. No, they don't know if anyone, I at least like for Gladiator, they're doing, or for Camel and all that, just blood test, everything, just keeping everything good and clean, you know? So. And
I ended up getting hurt and I couldn't fight. And that's what put me out for into now.
Yeah.
My knee, so like I stepped out of the fighting game for like a year, and I said I'm gonna just let my knee raise the rest, and then I was like it's probably gonna go back, so I went back, And like every time I put like pressure on my knee, it was just like giving out on me.
Mine still pops out of place. Yeah, it's like my little party trick.
Yeah.
Like I'll be in training and it'll pop out. I'm like, wait, just give it a second. Pop it back in. I'm like, we're good.
And I already have knee problems. I had a motorcycle accident. Okay. So like my knees are all fucked up. So I was like, man, my doctor was like, you can get a surgery, or you could just. Like the S word. And I looked at him and I was like, all right, well, I'll think about it. So then I asked everybody that I know that had surgery, so how's your surgery going? He's like, my knee still hurts. I was like, I was out on my feet for like 3 months, and I was like, man, I don't want to do that. So then I asked another guy, and he's like, yeah, same thing, everybody. And I'm like, so my doctor hit me up. He's like, so what's up? We gonna schedule this? I was like, nope. He said, what? And I was like, and then I also have a rock on my knee, like it's infused to my bone. Oh. Cause my motorcycle accident, like I got a bunch of rocks everywhere. Oh, wow. So my body pushed all out except for that one. That one went in and got stuck to my bone. That's crazy. So like it's like now like that's like my weakness. Like if you want to have me tap out, you just hit that and like, oh fuck, I'm out because it hurts. But that's I was like disappointed in myself, and I kind of went into like this little funk. I was like, man, I can't fight, can't even train. Yeah. I'm like fuck, and then I actually went to training. Probably I went back 2 years ago, and it was okay. But in like the third day in, it was like couldn't even walk. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, and my wife was like, you all right? I was like, my knee is just killing me. Even with the knee brace, everything, like I couldn't. But your first fight, what was that at? That
was for same place as Gladiator, but it was known as Cage Wars at the time, out in Valley Center.
So that was what, a couple years ago? Yeah. Because like when I was fighting, that's where they first moved in. Yeah. Because they used to wear Saboba.
Yeah. In that area, so it's
I went to fight over there, and it was like a shit show. Like
we call it a chicken coop. Was it that outside thing under like the hanger and all that?
Yes, you're fucking warming up on like gravel and shit. Yep. It was my 21st birthday, so my mom had a party for me. They couldn't find a fight for me because they fucked up. Yeah. I was fighting at 125. The guy they wanted me to fight was like 175. Oh shit. And I was like. I said, yeah, because my coach wasn't there yet. Yeah. I said, yeah, I'll fight him. And he's like, all right, for sure, let's set it up. So I was like, start warming up. You're next.
I don't give a damn there.
I said, all right, for sure. So I started warming up. My coach ended up showing up. He's like, where's your opponent? I was like, right there. But like, he was far. So I couldn't really see him. I just see this short thing. He's like, all right, cool. So he walks over there. He goes, bro, you're not fighting him. I said, why? He goes like, he's 175. And I'm like, how much do you weigh right now? Like, did you?
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like I said, probably 130 right now. And he goes, fuck no, you're not fighting him. I was like, he goes, well, it's up to you. And I'm like, I want to fight. It's my fucking birthday. I win or lose, I want to fight. And he goes, all right. So then, like, he comes back. And he goes, like, bro, you're not fighting this guy. This guy is way too big for you. Yeah. But he was short, though, but he was stocky. So I was like, if you fight him, all you have to do is just run. Throw a couple punches, run. Throw a couple punches, run. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to, like, I want to win by winning. Yeah. So then like the promoter's like, let me try to fight somebody else. And I'm like, all right. They couldn't find nobody in the house. And my mom kept calling me, hey, where you at? Like, you supposed to be home already. I'm like, well, I still haven't fought. He's like, what the fuck? So they ended up coming. He's like, hey, what about if you just do like a grappling match? And I was like, what? I said, nah, I'm good. I said, man, you know what? I told my coach, I'm about to bounce. My coach was like, we're never fighting here again. Yeah. Because they fucked up like the whole, like even my boy Edgar's fight, they fucked it up. And like it was all bad. So I was like, that's the last time I'm gonna fight like there. And then ended up going with Cameron. That's when I fucking got an energy. But your first fight, when you walked into the ring, were you nervous?
Yeah, so the crazy thing, I kind of had a similar story to you. For my very first fight, I guess my original, I don't even know if there was an original opponent, but apparently she didn't show up, and they didn't tell me until I got there. And keep in mind, like, I already sold tickets. Like, I have such a big turnout, like over 50 tickets sold and all that. It's my first fight. Everyone's excited. I'm super excited. And so I get there and they drop the bomb on me. And so they're like, we could try. I was like, what do you mean, you know? So I panicked. My coach was like, I got it. We're going to handle it, you know? And so I'm just stressed. And then so the owner is calling around, like trying to find different girls at a gym and all that. So then it turns out they end up finding me someone. Keep in mind, so we're in the back tents the whole time. I see the whole area. I don't see another girl anywhere in sight, you know? Nowhere. And I'm just like, all right. So it comes down to my fight. And apparently I still can't see this girl anywhere. And so I'm just like, what the fuck? I have no idea, you know? I'm just like, I'm going with the flow, whatever. I'm just still in my zone. I walk out first and I get in the cage first. My opponent comes out and like she's super cool to this day, like we're friends and stuff, but she's a transgender. And so she walks out and like she straight looks like a boy, you know? Yeah. And I was just like, all right, buckle up, here we go. And like she's got a nice build to her, she's got veins, you know, like she looks good. Oh, okay. And so I was like, you know what, Keana, like this is nothing new. You train with all the guys, you know, and I mean like she's still around your size and everything, you know. So I was like, let's go. You're already in here. And so that I just remember that moment. I was like, oh shit, you know, she looks tough. She looks hard. And so I actually ended up winning that fight within the first minute of the first round. Oh shit. And I got an arm bar. Nice. And then so yeah, the nerves were crazy though. That was like the big, like every fight, it's always crazy adrenaline. Are crazy
you
nerves.
Nervous for like what's gonna happen? Or are you like, because when I first ran my first boxing match, I'm walking out, right? I'm like, fuck, I'm good. I'm acting tough. I get inside the ring. I told my coach, I need to take a shit. And he was like, no, you nervous? I was like, no, I need to take a shit. He was like, no, you're nervous. I was like, no, I feel that shit coming out. And he was like, sit your ass down. And so he's like, he sat me down, put my mouthpiece in. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, and I was like, no, I need to take a shit. Yeah. He was like, well, you can't. You're going to take a shit here now. I was like, what? He's like, take a shit here. And then you're going to lose the fight. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, oh, and then introduce us, whatever. Boom. They got out. And then I was looking at my coach like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think I'm ding ding. And I turned around. I was like, and then like when I heard the bell and I seen the guy coming towards me, like everything just like my stomach, like me trying to take a shit, went away, and I just started going at it. Yeah. Ended up winning my fight. My opponent was really cool. He was like, bro, it was his first fight too. We were talking. I said, bro, I didn't take shit. He's like, I thought I was gonna shit on my pants. I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, cause your face, like, it's like your face look like you want to kill me. And I was like, well, that's what my coach said. Just go kill him before he kills you. Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
So you were them.
So, and I was like, I had a friend that told like her son wants to fight. And he's like, but he's nervous. I was like, is he nervous to get hurt or he's nervous? He's like, I don't know. I was like, so I talked to him and he's like, no, I don't know. Are you scared? I told him. He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So like, my fear was more like disappointing my coach, my family. Like I was never afraid like, oh, I'm gonna get a cut or I'm gonna break an arm. Never that, because before that, like I've motorcycle accident, fucking, I was never like, I'm not afraid of breaking a bone. I'm not afraid of none of that because I've been there, done that. So I was like, I'm not afraid of getting cut and anything. I was like, my fear is just to disappoint like my family, my fans, my coach, you know, like that's my fear. I was like, I'm not nervous of like, oh, my opponent gonna whoop my ass. I'm not nervous of that because I take an ass whooping. But and then he was like, oh well, I don't know. I was like, well, you have to think about it because if you're scared to get in the ring with somebody, it might not be for you. Exactly. So you won your first fight, and then you like after that you were like, I need to keep doing. I need this or.
So the thing for me is I knew that fear and all that, it's not so much of like afraid what's gonna happen. Like I was very confident no matter what. You know, I go like the only thing that gives me like makes me nervous being in the cage is honestly just the stage fright of being in a crowd. I don't like being on the spot, and so fighting definitely pushes me out of my comfort zone of being on the spot. I do well under pressure, but just knowing that many eyes are on me, that's what has me nervous every single fight. It's not the person across from me. It's nothing. It's just that stage fright is crazy for me, and it gives me a lot of adrenaline too, just knowing what's about to happen, you know?
Yeah, heck yeah.
But I'm a big adrenaline junkie. I love that feeling. I've done so many things like trying to search for adrenaline that only being in the
You went skydiving, right?
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah. Skydiving, shark diving, all that.
When I get guests in here, I actually like go and stalk your Instagram and everything. So I had to get like, so I could have a conversation with you before. And if not, I'm just sitting here like, well, okay, like
yeah.
So I know, but I seen all that. Like I was like, okay, yo, you Hawaiian?
No, Filipino.
Okay. Because I seen you had tribal and stuff, and then you were in Hawaii. So I'm like, okay, she's Hawaiian. Okay, she a poly. Because I grew up with.
They thought I was a local, and I was like, no, just from Vegas.
Yeah, no, because I grew up with Samoans, so like that's why I got tribals on me. And when I went to Hawaii, everybody thought I was local. Like, hey, bro, where do I go? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to find out where to go too. Like, so, oh, you're not from here? I was like, no, I'm not from here. He's like, oh, okay, cool. But as a female fighter, like, what is the for you? What's the hardest thing? Because you could say like the fighting game is like a male thing,
male
right?
dominant sport.
So like when you become a female fighter, what do you to you what is the hardest thing to as a fighter, a female fighter?
Luckily, I've heard some crazy stories, and I know some women have had it really hard, you know, just like politics in the gym, coaches, teammates making them uncomfortable and stuff. Luckily, I've always been in really good, safe hands where I've never been in that position. And I think, like, my demeanor, too, like, everyone, like, when I'm in the gym, like, you can tell, like, I'm not in there to play around, you know? Like, I'm one of the dudes in there with you, you know? Oh, shit.
All right, but we're going to pause because, I'm sorry. The camera's only record for 30 minutes, and I fucking forgot about that.
Okay.
It's just a little pause.
You're good.
Oh, shit. All right, sorry about that. But the question was, what's the hardest thing for you as a female fighter, or what do you think is the hardest thing as a female fighter? Should
I pick back up where I left off or read?
Yeah, you can pick up. Okay. Just so people. Okay. Because it's sometimes it's like the camera shuts off but yeah, go ahead. You can pick up where you left off.
Like I said, I haven't really had any too bad experiences so far and stuff. I guess maybe just, I don't know, little backhanded comments sometimes, you know, like hearing the typical stuff like, oh, like, you're too pretty to be a fighter, this and that, like things like that, where I'm just like, that's not what it's about, though, you know, or even things like going into gyms or somebody new coming in and like
they don't want to fucking hit you.
My thing is whenever there's new, I get it, it's out of respect, and naturally a lot of guys know I don't hit a girl, you know, but I'm in here, and so when they do start, and I'm like, hey, you better hit me because I'm gonna hit you, you know. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I need you guys to take me serious and train hard with me because this is what I need, you know? So I don't have that problem at my gym. Like, all the guys are super comfortable with me now. Everyone knows me. They know what I'm in there for. So I guess just whenever it's, like, starting new somewhere, you know, everyone's still filling you out. Yeah. But they kind of could quickly learn, like, hey, I'm not here to play and, like, waste time.
Yeah, so I had in my motorcycle class, we had a female fighter. And that was my first day. So I hop on there and I'm like, to me, it's like, if you're in here and you know what the fuck is gonna go home, what's going on.
You know what you signed up for.
Like, I'm not gonna go easy on you. So I just bombing and pop, pop, pop. And at the time, I didn't know how to throw my kicks, but I know how to box. So I'm like, she's throwing kicks, and I'm like, oh shit, like what the fuck? But I'm tagging her with my hands. She at the end of the class, she gives me a bump, like a fist bump, and I was like, he's, I like you because you came in here, you didn't even like, you thought I was like, you didn't see me as a girl, and I was like, nah, because you signed up here, you know what the fuck you're doing. Yeah. And jiu-jitsu was a different story. So we had a girl in there, and we were going at it, and it was no gi. We were going at it, and you know, hands fly, and I was going to get her hand, and she moved it, and I grabbed her boob, and she fucking like, oh my god. And I was like, fuck, we got one of these. So I got up and I looked at my coach and I was like, so then he walked over there and he's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, he grabbed my boob and he did it on purpose. And I'm like, I did not do this shit on purpose. I'm like, what the? I was like, all right, whatever. So then like we switched.
This is not the sport for that, to be uncomfortable. Have you ever seen North South? Like, there's no personal space in the sport.
So we had another girl and I looked at her and I said, are you going to bug out too or you want me? He's like, oh no, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Like, you know. So then we're going boom with it. And the other girl's looking at me all weird because like I fucking touched her and shit.
Kick him off the mat.
So I was like, man. So then the coach is like, are you good? He told the girl, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. So we go. And I told my coach, I don't want to go with her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we switched again. One of my friends, he's going with her, and then he went to sweep her, and like he grabbed, like he went under, so to sweep her, and she like fucking had a fit. Like she was like, oh my god, he touched me right there, like. Yeah. So so my coach came on. He's like, okay, so like you signed up for this. This is hands are flying everywhere. Yeah. Like they'll be touching their things. Like, you know, guys be touching their, like, you know, it's not. If you don't want to do it, like if you don't want nobody to touch you, then don't come in here. And then she like
go train with strictly the girls.
Then she hit us with, I was raped.
Oh.
And I was like, that's why I'm signing in here. And then my coach is like, well, fuck, you have to say something when you sign up. Like, hey, like I'm still going through some shit. Like, you know, like you have to let us know.
There's a certain trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. So coach didn't tell us, right? So the next class, he fucking forgot because he was like, I was shocked. Next fucking time we're going, she goes, she comes to me and apologizes. And she tells me like, I'm sorry, I just had a bad day. I was like, no, it's all good. Fucking, we go again. I pull guard. And like, I guess it like fucking hits her like it like, oh, I'm getting, and she starts like screaming, smacking me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, so then my coach comes in, he's like, sorry guys, sorry. I was like, she was like, I don't know if it's true, She's saying that she's been raped, so that's why she signed up for this
baby,
class.
You don't need jiu-jitsu right now. You need therapy right now, you know?
And then we had,
Let's start small.
Another black belt said, well, coach, we shouldn't even have her in here.
Yeah.
Because, like, if she's...
Very intimate.
This is, like, we're close.
Very intimate sport.
And then so my coach went outside and talked to her and was like, you know what? I think you need to go get more, like, help mentally. And then we could teach you self-defense after. She
was on the right track. You know, it's definitely good that it got her open to wanting to learn self-defense, but if you're still triggered by certain things, that is a bit soon to hop in. Yeah. Especially with how strong of a contact sport that is.
Yeah, and then so we had another girl, and this girl had big boobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And then, like, from there, I was just like, fuck, I don't even want to do this. Like, I don't even want to fuck. I don't want to even, like, and then that's what, you know, some female fighters like, oh, it's just because you guys don't want to. I said, no. To me, it was like that day. I was like, I told her, I was like, I don't feel comfortable going with, I told coach, I don't feel comfortable going with her. And he was like, why? I was like, because what happened like 2 weeks ago. And she said, oh, you just because I'm a female. I was like, no. And then I didn't even want to explain myself.
Yeah.
So we're going, and I go to get her lapel, and I end up grabbing her, like, her shirt, and I pull up, and her boob kind of comes out, and she's like, my boob, and I'm like, oh shit, and she goes, no, you're fine, it's just I don't want it to come out. And I was like, oh, and he's like, don't worry about it, like, I know what I'm signing up for. He goes, there's a bunch of dudes here, I'm the only female here. So, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then she was super cool, like, you know, like, she, like, even she went to do the to Muay Thai class, and she ended up fucking smacking me in my balls, and I was like, and she's like, I'm sorry. She's like, you can hit me in my boobs if you want. I was like, nah, you're good. And that's my next question. When you guys get hit in the boobs, is it the same, like, does it hurt?
I wouldn't say
so it's just like patting?
It doesn't really hurt. Like, I've actually not shot a lot of the guys, and I'm like, ah, fuck. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, do you need water? Do you need to walk it off? You know, I think I'm just so, like, immune to getting hit and stuff that, like, anytime I do get hit somewhere, I just kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I just brush it off. It doesn't really faze me like that.
That's crazy.
Like, I've ate enough headshots, enough anything. Like, honestly, it all evenly sucks. But nothing to drop me and make me take a moment.
Oh, okay. Because I was like telling my girl, because one day I kind of like elbowed her, and she's like, oh my God, my boob. And I was like, did I hurt? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, is it like when we get kicked? He's like, probably. I was like, nah. I was like, I don't think so, because we feel like we about to die. And she was like, no. And I was like, well, whatever. But because I was going to say, because you say you were Taekwondo, right? Mm-hmm. Taekwondo is mostly kicks. Mm-hmm. So I had this guy named Anthony. This dude was killing me. Like, we're doing Muay Thai, and this dude is fucking me up with legs. I was like, man, this motherfucker is killing me. Like, every time I throw something, he's coming back with fucking legs. So now at the end of the class, he goes like, man, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I said, you motherfucker. I said, you motherfucker. I was like, you just telling me this shit right now?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. I was like, whatever, dog. I was like, but I still got your ass. I was still fucking you up. And he was like, yeah. So you did Taekwondo, then you went to Jiu-Jitsu, then Muay Thai, or after that, what?
So I was doing Taekwondo first, and then I was just doing, like, the regular, like, fitness workout classes. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, UFC gym has, like, things like that. So that was, like, the boxing and, like, the Muay Thai classes where we're just hitting the bags and stuff. I've never really been sparring and whatnot yet. And then I started in the, like, Muay Thai class where they were training in the octagon and sparring. So I was about, like, 15, 16, like, barely getting used to sparring, getting hit. But it wasn't nothing foreign to me because I was used to sparring in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So I've been hard sparring since I was little. So that's why, like, even since, like, when you ask about, like, getting hit and stuff, I'm just like,
yeah,
I've been going through it. And so, so then I started sparring in, like, Muay Thai and stuff. And then I seen the Jiu-Jitsu class, and then I got started with that. Mm-hmm. And then I just slowly started, like, putting it all together with signing up on an MMA team. And it all just kind of, one thing just always led into another. I seen a different style, and I was like, I want to learn that now. Now I want to learn that, you know?
What is your style? Like, who, you know, there's that, oh, he's a Muay Thai fighter.
Jiu-Jitsu,
okay.
I love grappling. I love grappling.
So I love grappling, right? But then when I got to Muay Thai, I fell in love with Muay Thai. And I was like, okay, oh my God, I love this shit. I know if I could, you know, do this, like, for the rest of my life, I was like, I could. But, so what's your favorite style in jiu-jitsu? Like, what like, do you like, well, I can say, like, just style, because I love the spider guard. Mm-hmm. I love that, because I don't know, do you guys do gi at your gym?
Yeah. We do both gi and no gi.
I love gi.
I hate gi. I started off with the gi, and that was my bread and butter for a few years. I competed in gi and all that. And then transitioning into MMA, I started taking no-gi more seriously. And I love no-gi days. Like, even to this day, like, I try my best to not miss a no. Like, I look forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know? I just feel like that's the day I'm just really on it. And you know, so I am trying to get back in love with the gi and all that, because I do want to compete both. And obviously level up in my belts and stuff. But, yeah, I definitely prefer no-gi.
Okay. I love gi because I'm like, I feel like, well...
It's creative.
Yeah, it's more... And like the spider guard to me is like I was like, my coach said, where did you get this from? I was like, I don't know, like I seen it on YouTube and I was like, I want to learn that, because every time he was like, anybody wants to learn something, like, oh, spider guard. He's like, why do you always want to learn? I was like, because I like it.
Yeah.
What are like your style, like, or what's your favorite move? Put it like that.
Armbar.
I've
won most of my fights and tournaments, like 75 of the stuff I've won has always been by arm bars. So most of my fights have been by arm bars. Most of my tournaments have been by arm bars. I love, and it's funny because, like, ironically, growing up too, as women's MMA was getting bigger, like, I took a liking to Ronda Rousey, and her thing was typically the hip toss to the arm bar. And without even trying, for like my first few fights, I won most of them by first round hip toss to arm bar. And so they used to like mess around and call me like Little Rousey, Kate Rousey, stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know, it's a style I really like. So I do love the armbar.
Okay.
And then it's funny because then I got a taste of my own medicine finally. I've had tournaments where like I've had girls cry because like when I'm like, obviously I know it's the game of the millimeter, so I'm gonna go for it. You know? I've hurt a few girls, unfortunately. And so that one, I told you I'm 7-1. My one fight I lost was by a flying armbar. I went all the way to Fresno. I had my team with me, everything. We took a bus out there. It was a big title fight for the belt and all that.
For you?
We were fight of the night. Okay. Yes. And this was also my first fight at 135. I was typically a 45er, and then I went to 35. And so this was like the most legit camp I've had, you know? Okay. And...
the whole time you're fighting, were you with this gym that you were with right now?
No, I've only fought at this gym 2 times. Originally, I was with Fight Syndicate in Marietta. Okay. And so I did 5-6 of my fights out of there. Okay. And then my last 2 have been under this gym. Okay. But so this was back with Syndicate. So I went to Fresno and was ready for this fight. I felt so good. I was in the best shape I've ever been. Blah blah blah. We get out there. I believe I threw the first punch and kick, and it all happened so fast. Next thing I know, she hits me with the spinning flying armbar move. And she even says, I heard her say it on a video, we both heard my arm go pop, 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 super loud. And I'm still trying to fight through it all. And suddenly I'm like, all right, Keana, it's about to break. You know, so many thoughts are going to your mind in the moment. Yeah. So I finally tap and I'm going to sling for a while. And I have a picture. I don't know where it is, but from like literally here to here, my arm is black and blue, and I was in a sling for the night. Oh shit! And we're out there in Fresno, and it's late at night. Nobody wants to go to the hospital, and I want to go to the hospital, and they're like, "No, we're not taking you to the hospital." So we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they're like, "Just get her drunk; she'll be okay." Yeah. So they go to CVS, they get me a sling, they get me some lidocaine, they give me the few shots and all that, and then I'm just chilling, you know. So
did something happen in your arm?
I never really went and got it checked, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it was a bad hyperextension.
Yeah, my first, like, I'll say this probably that first week that I was doing MMA, jiu-jitsu, this dude was being a dick because I caught him, like, my first, like, you know how when you start jiu-jitsu, you don't catch nobody, you can't do shit for the first, like, 2 months.
I was only allowed to hip escape for, like, the first 2 weeks. Like, I was just doing a little hip escape circling around the octagon.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I was getting tapped out left to right, and I'm like, and I was getting frustrated. Yeah. Because I was like, man, what the fuck? Like, and then my coach was like, don't worry, it will come. So we were going, I'm like, this guy's probably, like, I'll say, like, he's a blue belt or something, and I catch him in the armbar. Yeah. So he gets mad.
Cause I kind of armbar, yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh dude, like not like. He would just looked at me and I'm like, oh, okay. He fucking like, he ran like towards me, like he almost elbowed me. Yeah. But I backed up and I squared up because I was like, okay, this motherfucker wants to fight me. I squared with him and he was like, and then, he's like, oh yeah, you want to go? And I said, well, come on.
You guys are in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Because he got mad because I tapped, because he got caught in the armbar.
Ego roller.
Boom. So we're going at it. He fucking flips me. I landed and I tap, but he keeps going. And my arm goes, pop, pop, pop. And I was like, oh, shit. So then I turn around and I smack him. Boom. And then coach comes in and says, what the fuck? Like, what are you guys doing? I was like, dude, I tap. And he kept going.
Yeah.
And then like, it was another black belt. His name was Carlos. And he goes, yeah, he's like, he got mad because he got tapped out. You can see in his face.
Yeah. So
then the coach talked to him. They went, like, I wasn't there, but they had morning classes. So I guess in the morning class, he did the same thing to some other guy. So the coach kicked him out. I was like, no, dude, like,
too much ego on the mat.
Like, you, like, and he came from another gym.
Okay.
So he was like, okay, like, he's a blue belt, but he was not from the same gym. So I was like, so coach was like, you good? I was like, yeah, man, my arm just, I never had that before. Like, he's all right, just ice it. And if it really hurts, just go to the hospital. The next day I couldn't move my fucking arm. I was like, fuck. And then like I was working. Like, so then talking about work, you're a preschool teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when you have fights and like, I don't know if you ever had bruised up and.
Oh yeah. Those kids they've seen me on crutches. They've seen me black eyes, busted lips. Oh yeah. They know what I do.
Okay.
Like, they call me a ninja. So they think I'm a ninja, cool. Or they'll call me like Superwoman or things like that.
Oh, that's what's up.
I've shown them like my fights and stuff. Like I'm not promoting the violence to them, but I just tell them like, oh, teacher does rest. Like they're little, they're 2 to 4 years old. So they don't really understand what MMA is. So I'm just like, oh, teacher does wrestling, teacher does boxing, and they're just like, cool, whatever. I wrestle at home too. Like, no big deal. And so I've shown them my videos sometimes, and they're just like watching, like, teacher, that's you in there? And I'm like, yeah. They're just like, okay,
Yeah.
And so I actually just got asked last night. They're like, oh, like, do you ever show your students, like, your moves and stuff? And I was like, no, actually, I keep that so separated.
Your what?
Like, do you ever, like, teach them moves and stuff?
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah. No.
Like, no, I actually keep that really separated because I don't want them play fighting in my school, you know? It's different if I'm to go help the kids class at the gym, but when they're in my school, I'm like, hey, guys, hands, oh, God, my teacher voice is so fake.
It's all right, my wife did.
Hands are for high fives, hugs, and knuckles, you know? So I know I'm not going to teach them how to fight each other because then as I'm trying to teach them, they're going to be over here on circle time trying to wrestle, you know?
Yeah. Are you going to school for that or you, like, or do you want MMA to be what you want to do?
I would love to pursue a career in MMA if that's what it allows me and if that's as far as I get. I'd love to go full time in that. But then I also do have I love teaching and I love working with kids. So I'm just still kind of just seeing where things take me. I would love to eventually work with like special needs students.
Oh, okay.
But then I evenly love both. They're both such a big part of my life. Because in one aspect, I'm a student. In one aspect, I'm a teacher. And I love it. I love the balance of both. So I'd love to maintain both as long as I can. It's a very doable schedule. I teach during the day. I train in the evening. Yeah. But I know eventually, like, if I was to want to ever just train full time, like, that seems nice.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows, maybe switching from curriculum to working with like training kids classes and stuff, so either way.
Okay. Because my wife is a teacher and
what grade?
She started with kindergarten. That's what she likes, kindergarten. But with COVID and everything, so they had to move her to first grade.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so at first she didn't even like it.
First graders are still kind of cool. Yeah. I think second grade is where it gets tough.
Yeah.
They have their personalities a little more figured out around that time, and they're a little more testy.
So she always comes back and she's like, "Oh, this kid said this, and this kid said that," and it was like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, what is going on in the house? Like,
one of my funniest stories about that. We used to have this little boy, and he's like a little country boy and all that, And there was one time the kids were playing with the blocks, and a kid like knocked down his blocks or whatever, and he goes, "You dumb motherfucker!" And I was like, "Oh, I looked at him, and I was like, hey, oh shit, sorry guys." Here. And I was like, "Where did you learn that?" He's like, "My dad says it to my mom," and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, no, that's crazy." They're parents. They're crazy. I always tell myself like I want to keep a book of like darndest thing kids say. I've heard some crazy stuff.
That's a good one. I think I should tell that to my wife because she came and she's like, "Guess what what this kid said today?" And I was like, "What is that?" So we're doing the ABCs, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying this story right, but what I remember was, I guess like they were doing the ABCs or something, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm fucking this shit up." I guess they were drawing something. They were drawing something, and my wife was like, "What is that?" He said, "Oh, that's a strip club." And my wife was like, "What the fuck? How do you know what the hell is a strip club?" And I was like, and then my wife was like, "What?" Like it was crazy. And then like she's like that she has a kid, and that she was like he says hi to me 24/7. From the day from 7 o'clock when they come in to when they leave. "Hi, teacher. Hi, teacher.
Teacher.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Teacher, you want to see this move?
Yeah. And I told my wife, and my wife was like, oh, hi. Like, I just had my daughter's 2 months old, and like my wife's like, you have to watch your mouth when you're around the baby. I said, shit. Like, oh man, like I was like, that's gonna be hard for me.
Parents.
I was like, that's gonna be hard because I don't want her to go. You know, when I'm talking Spanish, it's like fucking bad words.
So I flip us by like from 5 p.m. from like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I dramatically flip a switch in my life because I'm in teacher mode all day. I'm like a little Care Bear, this and that. I'm off work by 4:30. Get ready, change, go to Riverside, train, and by 6 o'clock, I'm the girl on the mat with all the dudes and stuff, you know, and everyone's swearing like sailors. Yeah. And, like, I'm one of the homeboys in there and stuff. So it's a very drastic change. And then I'm hard sparring at night, and they always crack up too, because a lot of times, like, I like to take over the music and stuff in there. And, like, I like my rap. I like all that. And so I'll be playing some, like, hood rap playlists and all that. They're like, hey, aren't you the preschool teacher? Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to Baby Shark all day. Like, I've had enough.
Yeah, so my wife's like, you have to really fucking, like, change the way you talk to her around her. I said, man, but, like, if I'm talking to my phone, my cousins, I'm like, man, in Spanish. But, like, my daughter's going to Spanish, but it's like, what if your daughter, her name is Audrey. What if Audrey walks up to your mom and is like, hey, puñeta? And I was like, oh, shit. Like, my mom was going to trip, or he's like, hey, mama, bicho, or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, my mom's, I'm like, fuck, like, that's true. And then, like, in English, I'm like, I be watching TV, and I'm like, oh, man, fuck that shit. She's looking at me like, yo. I was like, she's still little. He's like, yeah, but you have to practice right now. The first
word she's gonna learn.
Yeah, and I was like, you have to practice right now.
Shit, then what?
Yeah, like I was like, oh, shit, like it's hard. And like even like when I first started doing the podcast and stuff, like it was my wife and one of my friends, and then they were like, hey, bro, you can't say nigga, you can't cuss, and I'm like, that's everything I say. Every other word is a fuck or shit or bitch or, and then always nigga like this that. And then they're like, you can't say that. Like, we're never gonna get fucking viewers and shit. I said, all right. So like, if I would put like those old videos, I'm like this all the time. So today we're talking about, and I have to like cut it because I'll say something. Oh yeah. So I'm like, it wasn't fun. Yeah. So when I started with the podcast, I told my boys like, bro, I'm saying everything in the fucking book. I'm saying whatever I fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying everything. So if people don't like it, if we don't get fucking monetized, I don't give a fuck. And she goes, all right, cool. I was like, but like, it was hard for me at the gym too, because my coach was really strict and was like, you can't cuss, you can't say the N-word, you can't say this, you can't say that. I was like, shit. So like, I'll be fighting, like, and I'm like going at it, I was like, fuck, boom. And I'm like hitting the bag, and I was like, you know, that will hype me up. And then my coach said, hey, man, you can't be saying that, man. I was like, there's kids here, there's parents here. And I'm like, man, like, because I'm a screamer when I hit. Like, pow. Yeah. And when I kick, and then, like, when I'm, like, wrestling, or when me and my boy, like, when the boys are fucking, like, just messing around, I'm like, hey, go get this nigga. Whoa. Coach be like, hey, you can't be fucking. I was like, no, coach, come on, man. Like, just put fucking some fucking ear covers or something, and just let us be. But talking about what, like, because, all right. This is weird, but when I would go in fights, I would listen to Mexican music. Okay. Because it pisses me off.
Why does it piss you off? What about it pisses you off?
It just brings, like, how Vegas brings back memories. Okay. Mexican music brings me back memories. Okay. So I would put it on, even my coach was like, yo, you're weird. And I was like, nah, it just helps me get to that mental stage. Yeah. And he was like, okay, whatever. He's like, but like that music doesn't hype. Like, you're not, like, you know, when you shadow box your music to like a song, you go with the beat.
I'm very reliant on music. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but it just gets me in that mental stage. Like, okay, I'm about to go fuck somebody up. Yeah. And this gets me in that.
Triggers your fight or flight.
Yeah, like, boom. Like, I'm about to, like, you know, because I'm really like a nice guy outside of the cage. Like, after my fights, I was like, hey, go talk to my opponent. Like, hey, man, like, good fight. You know, keep doing your shit. You know, hopefully we're fight
amateurs.
again.
There's no reason for beef.
Yeah.
We're not getting paid for this.
like, you know what I'm saying? I only had one guy that, like, really fucking, like, I beat him and he thought that he won. Yeah. It was like, I went to decision and he's like, nah, I won. Nigga, like, you know, you lost. And I'm like, I dropped you 2 times. I'm pretty sure I won. Yeah. And, but that's the only guy that I sorry, it's probably my dog. So what gets you in that moment when you fight, or do you have a routine before your fights that you get into that mode? Like, okay, this is now I'm not the preschool teacher. I'm not Keana. I'm Cub.
Yeah. Then the night before, so I have like a whole like MMA like jiu-jitsu journal and stuff I write and stuff. So that night, like usually to calm my nerves and stuff, I'm going over my journal, writing things down and stuff. So that night, like I'm trying to allow myself to sleep. And then the next morning, it's game. My whole house knows. Like we're always playing music really loud in the house, you know. And I love both my parents' music taste, so there's always music bumping in the house. And so they know that morning of, like, I'm either fight days, I'm either, like, my rap playlist, or I really like heavy metal. Like, I like Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, all that. I love heavy metal.
Like, like that?
Where I could comprehend them more, though. Yeah, I know the death metal you're talking about. I do like that, but I'm more, like, the old school, like I said, like Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, stuff like that.
You like country?
So, I love country.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I love country. I actually listen to Garth Brooks on the way here.
I haven't asked this question in a while. Like, when my boy Mario was here.
At our age, it's so frowned upon sometimes to like country.
Well, first of all, because I'm Latino and I'm like, my skin color, like, you like country? Yeah, I like country. What the fuck?
I grew up cowgirl boots last night. I love country.
I grew up with Samoans. They play country.
Yeah.
So, and then, like, my boy Marion, the one that used to do the podcast with me, he was like, bro, you weird. So every time like we had a guest, we asked him that question.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, I'm fucking 6-1 or whatever, because everybody hates country. So like I can say like probably I'm like 10-2 right now.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But so on fight days, yeah, I'm usually like in the morning when I'm getting up, getting ready, and now I have somebody I go to, but I used to like do my own braids and stuff for fights. Okay. So I'd wake up, bump my music in the house, and like do my braids and like get in my zone. Like I am on fight days, my family knows. Don't talk to me. I am super like I'm very talkative, outgoing, bubbly, and on fight days, don't talk to me. I'm in my head. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me nothing. You know, they just know let Keana be in her zone. I'm gonna shut my door, bump my music. I'm focused until later that night. You know, so it's usually like the rap playlist and stuff that gets me going, and then when I'm at the fights too, then I switch it over to more of like my metal playlist, just because
just to get
it gets
hype.
my heart racing. I'm already, so hearing that double bass and the guitar and everything, like it gets me going. Because usually during my training camps and stuff too, I have, like I said, I'm so heavily dependent on music. So I have like my rap playlist, which is labeled Black Air Force Activity.
Okay, that's what's up.
And then, but like during camp, if I'm like doing my runs or my sprints and stuff, I have my metal music because I know that that's typically what I like to walk out to. So it just helps me visualize and all that.
Okay.
So yeah, I heavily use music for my camps. Okay. Like you said, shadow boxing, bag work and all that. I will be finding a song to just follow the beat to. Like you say, fighting's dancing.
Yep. So my coach, my Muay Thai coach is Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban, if you didn't know.
Okay.
So he was like, oh, play this. I'm going to put this on so you can shadow box. And then it was like this like hip hop, and I was like, bro, why don't you put like some salsa, or some reggaeton, or something so I could move? You feel me? And he was like,
get your feet moving.
He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, man, put some salsa. And he's like, you can't shadow box with salsa. I was like, put it on, man. I said, watch this shit. And I was like moving my legs like I was not watching like, I mean, I was dancing salsa and I was shadow boxing. And he was like, bro, you like, he goes, okay, I see what you're doing. Let me see what you're doing. I was like, yeah, I'm just, moving my legs as just like if I'm dancing salsa, and then just put my hands together.
Yeah.
And then like before like Muay Thai class or whatever, sorry, I'm keep like beer gets me going. Like I'll go and start warming up like on the side, and then like everybody will like all the parents waiting for the kids to come out. They will see me like doing my salsa moves, and then like I'll be like shooting, and they're like, what the fuck? I see like little people like looking at me like, what is he doing? Like, but fighting day for you is most. Oh shit, I got some bugs. Okay, I had to clean my fucking reptile case. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't cleaned them motherfuckers in a while, but I have to clean because I just seen some people that shouldn't be in the cages. But so you heavy metal. I was gonna ask you another question. Don't drink, guys, because then you forget.
Starting off with fighting day.
Fighting day.
I'm talking music.
I've been hit in the head a bunch of times too, so like fuck. When you get to the arena, because this will happen to me all the time, like to the place, not arena, venue. To the venue. Do you like intimidate your opponent, or like you? To me, I wouldn't even pay attention to them.
I don't. Yeah, I'd say if they're intimidated, then it's not me intentionally trying to do it at the, like fight days and stuff. I do have very bad resting bitch face because I'm just very I got my braids in and I just like I'm in my zone. You know, they know at the gym I'm very always joking around, smiling, laughing. Fight days, nope, none of that. So if my opponent is intimidated, then it's just because I'm probably walking around resting bitch face. I walk around like a little stocky wrestler, you know.
I hate. Don't disrespect the wrestlers, but I fucking hate them. I hate them.
I am trying to be a wrestler.
I hate them, bro. They take me down all the fucking time, and I'm not saying like I hate them because like it's just like I can't work like.
They're hard.
They're hard to like work with, and I'm like, dude, like let me do something. Don't just lay on me. You know what I'm saying? Like
I did wrestling for like 2 months in high school, and that's another funny story. So word went around like my high school, like they knew I fought and whatnot. I was in jiu-jitsu tournaments at the time, and so word went around like what I did, and so the wrestling coach they offered and told me like, hey,
shit,
like,
okay, pause it right there. I keep forgetting. Pause it right
30
there.
30 minutes on the camera.
Yeah. I need to get better cameras, guys. But you're saying you're in high school and people that were the word was getting around that you were fighting.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, like why don't you do the wrestling team? And I was like, you know what, like yeah, let me try it. I was a senior at the time, and so not JV, not the girls team. They put me straight on boys varsity. Oh, so shit. It was me and about like 40 boys who have been wrestling for like all 4 years of high school, and I was just like, okay, like I train, I should know a thing or two. Totally different. Yeah. And I didn't realize when you sign up for wrestling, you basically sign up for track with all the running that you're doing. Oh, it was intense. It was probably the most intense workout I've had at the time. You know, it was hard. It was intense. And just trying to keep up with them, it was a lot different too because there was a lot of like their... and then this was in Vegas? No, this was out here in California. I went to Vista Marietta High School. Okay. I moved to California my freshman year. So I went to high school all out here. And so it was just different because I didn't know a lot of like the wrestling basics, you know? So they're already working single things and I don't even know how to like shoot properly because I'm used to jiu-jitsu. I was comfortable on my back. I was comfortable this and that. So it was hard. So for about like 2-3 months, I was in there not knowing what the hell I was doing, trying to keep up. And around the last time of it, they also put me in, I went to a tournament out in Hemet. Okay. Not knowing the rules of wrestling, not knowing the point system, nothing. I got smashed all 3 matches, but I'm also at a tournament where...
Oh, you were fighting with boys?
Yes.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, so I was out there with the boys. So all these boys from different high schools that have been wrestling, doing varsity all 4 years, blah, blah, blah. Here I am 3 months in, you know.
Wow.
It was very different.
Coach fucking good. Shout out to that coach, man.
It was very different. And I definitely wish I would have stuck with it. But at the time, I was trying to balance... school and still doing MMA practice and then wrestling practice and then I would try to go home and because my preschool was always out of home, so then I would go to school, go home, work for a little bit, go to wrestling practice, go to MMA practice, still go home, do homework, eat, all that. Like it was just a hectic schedule. So
wait, hold on. Right now your preschool's not at home, is it?
Yeah, the one in the pictures. Well, it's connected to my house.
Oh shit!
It looks like a school.
So is it a family thing?
Yeah, it's a family thing.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's my mom's business. Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
my dad's a licensed contractor. Okay. So we live on an acre property, and he turned our like garage and patio into it looks like a facility. Like
I thought I really thought you had you worked for somebody else.
Yeah, no.
That's
my
what's up. That's what's up.
So my mom's like the owner, and she handles all the like main stuff with the parents and all that, and I'm the main teacher, and I work hands on with the students.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
So it's awesome. That's why I work so good with my training schedule because say if I'm in fight camp or something, I have the luxury of working out of home, you know. Yeah. If I'm having to water load and use the bathroom all the time or something, or just even like prepping my meals and all that, like it works hand in hand a lot better than people think so. That's
what's up. Yeah. I tried to go try for the wrestling team because everybody told me like, oh yeah, we're gonna go wrestle. And I was like, all right. I walk in. By the way, fuck that coach. If you watch this, and probably you don't watch, but if you are, fuck you. Because I walked in there and he was like, we don't need you. Oh. And my boys all wrestling. And they looked at the coach like, man, what the fuck? So I went, all right, fuck you then. I walk out. 2 days later, the coach comes, hey man, like, I'm sorry, like, I was stressed out, like, we need you, and I don't want to wrestle. He's like, what? I was like, don't want to wrestle. Yeah. He's like, why not? I was like, cause of you. And I walked away. One of my boys told him, like, dude, you fucked up. That dude. Yeah, man. Sorry about the puppies, man. No, we're bugging and shit. He was like, "You fucked up." That guy would have been. He could have brought a fucking champion to this school. Cause I didn't know jiu-jitsu, but my boys, when we'll after school, like we'll go and fuck around, and we'll like wrestle and shit. And I'm like, I don't know the rules, but I'm tapping these motherfuckers out.
Yeah. And
I'm the only armbar I know from YouTube. So he was like, like come on, let me know, let me help you out. Like we could do something. You can even get a scholarship. And I'm like, I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm done. I'm like, way. Fuck you. Like I don't even want to see you. And he was like what is it called? I guess the nurse for the football team. And I was playing football. I don't know what it's called. It was a trainer. Okay. Is it a trainer? I'm not sure what it's called, but he was that, like when we get hurt, he will take care of us. Medic? The medic. Okay. Yeah. What the fuck? So and then like when I was playing football, and he was like, "Oh, so you sure you don't want to?" I said, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna go play baseball." Well, no, like let's wrestle. No, I'm gonna go play baseball. Yeah. But you know, I was doing bad in school, so I couldn't even wrestle. I couldn't even play football. I couldn't even. But my next question, because you did say like you prep your prep your meals, water load. What is something that you hate about fighting?
The mental challenge.
Mental challenge?
The mental challenge. I mean, I love it and I hate it. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster. There's some days I come home from practice and I'm on a 10. I feel great, this and that. And some days I come home and I'm just crying and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm very, very hard on myself that I'm never satisfied. And so there's been certain tournaments where like you could say I won and I did good and this and that, and the first thing I'll go tell my coach, what could I have done better? And there has been times where like I love tough love, and there has been times where he's like, hey kid, like cut yourself a break, know, and I'm just like, I can't, like I am very perfectionist when it comes to this. And so it's definitely a love-hate relationship, and that's where I'd say things distinguish between jiu-jitsu and like striking for me, because striking's fun, I like it, it's fun, you get the hands fun, you feel good. Jiu-jitsu is so mentally degrading sometimes. But that's the thing I love about it, because I want to overcome that, know? So I'd say the biggest thing about the sport is just the highs and the lows. I know the highs of when you win and you feel on top of the world. Yeah. And I know those lows of I have experienced loss, and it hurts. It literally feels, I remember after my first loss, that loss out in Fresno, the next day, it just felt like a bad dream, know? I just, like, any thought of it, like, I was just sick to my stomach, and especially it was such a big fight for me and all that. But then I was thankful for it later. I wouldn't have done anything different, because it definitely sparked a different flame in me. Yeah. That I was like, no, like, I already know what that feels like. I never want to feel that again. So I'd say definitely just all the highs and the lows it brings me. I hate cutting weight. Yeah, that's hard too. That's rough. I fucking hate it with a passion. Because it when I cut weight, my mom decides to be like the chef of the house. Yeah. So like, I wasn't cutting weight, my mom would never cook. Yeah. I started cutting weight. Oh, I'm making ribs. I'm making all this shit. I'm like, why now? Like, what the fuck? And he was like, well, shit. Like, we have this, and I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't cutting weight. The house smells good. Yeah, so I'm like, fuck it. And when I was fighting, I was working at Church's Chicken. Oh, that's so I was like, man, everything smelled good. I'm over here eating like 2 pieces of fucking bread with not bread, crackers with tuna and a shot of water, and everybody's, oh yeah, we about to make this thing, and I'm like, man, fuck you guys, like Pedialyte, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, like I hate cutting weight. Yeah, it's the mental thing is hard, because even with jiu-jitsu, because when I first started, I came home and I told my wife, I was like, I don't think this is for me. She was like, because I'm not getting it. Like, I can't tap nobody out. It takes so much time. And then she goes like, well, like, just wait. And I'm like, man. So then we had like an inside tournament, like a gym tournament. In-house tournament? Yeah, so like, my coach goes, oh, like, don't sign up. Like, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm gonna sign up. So I went in there. And then, so I was bugging my coach, because I was like, man, I want to fight. My coach is like, no, he said, you look like a bitch. And I'm like, he's super old school. Yeah. So they don't sugarcoat. And I looked at him like, and I looked at myself, and I'm like, and then at the time I'm letting my hair grow. So I'm like, have these bangs come in. And I was like, shit, I should cut my hair back down to like how I had it when I was in high school. And I was like, fuck.
I kept telling him like, I want to fight. And he was like, nah. You're not a fighter. He's like, you're a skater. You're not a fighter. I said, man, fuck. So then like that tournament came, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go in. I don't give a fuck. I said I might put my name in. I killed them all. I killed everybody in that fucking thing. So then like I walked out and I looked at him. He goes, okay. It's like, that's all mental game.
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? I was telling you that because to see what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because if you wasn't really want to fight, you wouldn't even signed up. I said, oh shit. He's like, next week got a smoker. Nice. Come through. I'm like, okay. Came through. My fighter didn't show up. There was another fighter there that his fighter didn't show up, and he was like 175. I was little. I was walking around like 135, 140. And then he was like, you want to fight him? I was like, fuck. He's like, nah. I said, coach, put me in. He's like, all right, go wrap up. Went and started wrapping myself up. Boom, boom. One of our coaches that was there actually made it to the Ultimate UFC Fighter. Okay. And he was my corner. Okay. His name was Paul. And he was like, dude, just, take him down. I was like, I don't know how to take people down. Like, the fuck? I'm putting my hands on him. He was all right. I put my hands on him. Coach, I won the fight. Coach says, he said, man, you good. I said, I told you. And I walked away. Every time now that people, I don't know if they do this at your gym, but every time that somebody will walk in and say, I want to fight, excuse me, I'm sorry guys, my coach will like test you first to see if you really have the heart. Because you could easily, like I told Jericho, I said, a lot of people that say like, oh, I have 20 fucking street fights, I can fucking hop in the ring and kill you. No, it's not the same. Yeah, and I like it's not the same because I did both, and I still anybody want to put my hands on me or see, it's different now that I know it's even worse.
There's so much more to it, and that's why like I really don't compare street fighting to like a fight in the cage because it is so much more technical. If you're in a street fight and somebody has you in half guard, certain positions, this and that, you don't know what to do. Like you said, sometimes you don't even know how to take someone down. You know, if you're a street fighter and you get in the cage and you're with a wrestler and you don't know how to sprawl or go for a shot or do something, there's so much more. There's so much to MMA that it's definitely. I did a seminar where they described it as a science, and there's so much to it, and it's not just fighting, it's not just throwing hands.
It's a technique. It's a lot of technique.
It's like keep a journal about it. Yeah. It's literally something to study. It's a technique. It's an art. So
and so my coach will call me up all the time, like, hey, AB, like this guy wants to fight. You want to fight him? I said, yeah, sure, I'll be there. Show up, fucking whoop his ass, and that's not. They won't show up the next day because they see that like, okay, street fights. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Because I know like if you throw a punch, I know where to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna take me down, I know how to, sprawl and get you on a fucking guillotine or armbar, whatever the fuck that I'm doing. So how you said like when you're in a street fight, people don't know. So one dude like called me out. He's like, oh, I want to fight you. I've never take a fight down. I never say no, I don't want to fight you. My hands are registered. So I was like, man, if I beat this thing up, I can go to jail, right? Because my hands are registered. So I said, all right, man, let's pull up. We have a quarter sack up there. If you're going all the way to the back of the apartment. So I said, go all the way back there. He's like, all right, for sure. So we go over there. Meanwhile, he's talking shit on social media about me this whole time. And I'm not saying anything. I'm like, all right, whatever. I get hot because he does say something about my dead cousin. So I was like, all right, man, pull up. You know where I live at. He tried to take me down. And one of my boys goes, you fucked up. He takes me down. I let him. Boom. I'm sitting on the ground like, all right, what are you gonna do next? He was just like trying to hug me, so I was like, man, I flipped him, boom, and I just started pounding his head in, and I got up and I said, you done? Let's keep going. I said, all right, we're going again, boom, boom, boom. He takes me down again. I was like, dude, like you didn't learn your lesson the first time. Like I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Flip him again. I don't hit him. I'm done hitting him. So like he's trying to hit me. I'm blocking everything. Boom, boom.
Street fighters think that just because you're on your back, you're losing or you're done. There's not coming back from that.
And my perfect example that I say is, look what happened to Kimbo Slice. Rest in peace. He was a great street fighter. I mean, if you watch his YouTube fights, great, man. He was fucking the motherfuckers up. he went in the cage, and it was a different ball game. He lost all his fights.
Yeah.
So that's how everybody's all, and I tell him, like, look at Kimbo Slice. It's not the same. It's not the same. And talking about this, because I'm talking about fights, I seen a video on your Instagram about this one of your opponents talking shit.
Oh man.
I said I need to say something about it because I liked the video because it just went back and forth.
That was like the pettiest thing I've done, and I tried to not make it as so much slander, and I tried to so much more make a joke out of it. And she was just different. She's very different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first, that's like I said earlier, we're amateurs. We're not even getting paid for this. Like, why are you trying to start beef? You know. And she was just a very different character. And
was she a fighter, or was it like one of those people like, oh, hey,
no, she was actually like training at gyms and stuff.
Okay.
You know? And at the time, like, I was getting like a lot of people like behind my back saying things like, oh, she's just taking easy fights on purpose. But I'm like, no, like at the time I was 18. These girls and me, we all had the same record, like under 3 fights. So yeah, they're gonna match us up. I was excelling pretty quick, you know.
Yeah.
So she definitely was a little interesting, and yeah, she just kept like having every excuse in the book for why she lost that fight. And somebody sent me, they're like, hey, there's a YouTube video about you. And I was like, what? So I went and listened to it, and you could hear the parts of it where she was like, yeah, somebody must have gave her pointers about me. Like, no, homegirl, I saw you hitting pads in the back, you know? Yeah. And you were like, this, like, no. And she just had everything to say about me, and I ignored it for a while. And then there was, like, I just kept hearing, like, her talking about me and stuff. And I was like, you know
was this after this was after the fight, right?
This was so long after the fight, like a year or two after the fight.
Oh, so she was butthurt the whole time.
Still hurt.
Damn.
And so that's when I was feeling like, you know what? Let's turn this into comedy. You know, you want to entertain, you want viewers. I'll give you viewers. And so that's when I made that little edit of just every time she said something, I just added a picture or video from the fight, and just kind of let the words do its own talking. You know. And then
I seen the end of, like, I think it was another poster you wouldn't, like, I think they would raise your hand, and her eyes are like swollen.
She had a black eye.
I was like, yo,
that's the
like,
first black eye I ever gave, and I was like, oh, we give black eyes now.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. So
have you won any fights by knockout? Or is it TKO? TKO. Okay.
Yeah, I've won 2 by TKO.
That feeling is fucking.
It is
great, huh?
Yeah, it's great. I love it, and I definitely do want a knockout in the near future. I think I have knockout power, and it's just a matter of setting it up.
Have you ever been knocked out? Like, even in training, because I got knocked out in training once.
I've been dazed pretty hard. I've never been like knocked out. I've been blacked out when I was younger. When I first started, honestly, I was training with the older men and stuff, you know, and I don't think he had bad incentives, but I was training with like this little ginger dude that looked like a little knockoff Conor McGregor, you know, and I was like 15, 16, and we're grappling and we're in the gi, and he gets me in a gi choke, and like I just closed my eyes for a second to think what to do, and next thing you know, they're raising my feet and everybody's waking me up. And it was so crazy. That was the craziest feeling, being blacked out, you know, like you feel like you're asleep for like 2 years, and it's just like 12 seconds.
It's like when you pass out.
Yeah, and so at a young age, I also figured out too, like, all right, like, cool, that's what people are so afraid of. That wasn't so bad, you know? I don't know, fighting, it doesn't scare or faze me. And so after that, I was just like, all right, cool, now let's learn to not do that again.
Yeah, I got knocked out, not even in the ring. Well, before I got in the ring, I got knocked out. And I thought I was the toughest shit in the world. And there was this little Asian dude. His name was Dylan. Shout out to my boy Dylan. And we still friends to this day.
Oh, that's a funny story.
So he was short too. He was like, and I was short.
Yeah.
At that time, but he was short. And we're going, and like I'm helping my godmother putting her groceries in the house, and I see him walking, and he's looking at me, but he's like looking like, who the fuck? Because that was my cousin's next door neighbor. My godmother's my aunt. Mm-hmm. So he's looking at me, and I'm like. So I get out the car and say, hey, what the fuck you looking at? And he was like, what? I said, what's up? You want to get down? And he was like, yeah. I said, all right. I ran over there. I probably hit him one time. He hit me 2 times. I was asleep. And then, like, I'm waking up. My cousin was like, you right, bro? You good? And I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he was like, you got knocked the fuck out? I was like, no. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, whoa. And then he's, like, looking at me, too, like, you okay? Like, he was scared.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then
it's scary. You don't know, like, when are they gonna wake up? You know, not everyone like, elevate the feet.
Yeah, my cousin is like, you wasn't out for a while, but it was just like he folded me like, I was stuck.
When you see,
I was stuck, and then he was like, what? And then my cousin's cracking up because he knows that how I was when I was little. I was like, oh, I'm the baddest motherfucker around.
Yeah, you got
and it's like, and then this motherfucker, short little Asian dude, little fucking call him Bruce Lee. After that, I was like, looked at him. I was like, you knocked me down, bro. He was like, yes. I put my arm. I was like, for sure. But they used to be next door neighbors. I didn't know. I only know the older brother. Okay. So the older brother comes outside and he's like, what the fuck, Dylan? What the fuck did you do? And then whatever. So to this day, we haven't talked in forever, but I think he went up north and but he would go to my fights, and then when I win, he was like, I knocked him out, you didn't. And he would walk away from it. I was like, damn, dude, like we about to cause a fucking rumble in here. But I got knocked out in the gym too. I got hit in the head. Boom, went to sleep. But and everybody said, what is that feeling? And I was like, shit, to be honest, you wake up like refreshed, like you're like, oh
yeah, you feel like what the fuck, like the deepest sleep of your life. It's crazy.
It's like when you pass out, like I can't, like every time I get blood I pass out. I don't know for what, I don't know why. Okay. I pass out, like I just go to sleep, and then like I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, like, and it's like the endurance, like you just went to sleep for like 2 minutes, like not even 2 minutes, 2 seconds, and you woke up. But I feel like I'm like, oh shit, I could go run the fucking marathon right now. But so you never been knocked out, but you got choked out and you blacked out.
Yeah, like I said, I was like 14, 15.
Have you ever done that to somebody?
No, not that I know of. I don't think I've ever blacked anyone out or anything. And like I said, I don't fight with bad motive. You know, with my training partners, I always try to be diligent and stuff. And like, even tournaments and all that too, I have been pretty intense sometimes. I have, like, with the armbar, I have hurt some girls. That's probably the one thing where I have hurt people, you know? But I mean,
I think that's just in the game. Like, I mean, you going in and boom. Cause like one of my homies, like he hurt my arm too, but it was like he was in the mood and boom, he just went.
It's in the moment. Like, oh, somebody.
But like I never go to the gym like mad.
Yeah. Because
then I can hurt somebody, and like when I would go and if I'm pissed off, like say me and my girl got an argument, because that was like the fucking thing to do when I was. Me and my girl been together for 12 years, about to be this year. Okay. So like I would get mad and like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go to the gym. And I'm like, I'll go and hit the bag before I hop in the class, because I didn't want to hurt like my teammates, because that's my teammates. Like you don't want to hurt your teammates, even though like we're practicing but you don't really want to hurt them. I'll go hit the bag, but sometimes you just have to clog them. Sometimes like, hey, this is how you do it. How you say, like, you know, like I got hit a bunch of times. I love to get hit. I don't know why. That feeling like
feel alive.
Yeah, like, oh shit, okay, you just hit me. All right, I'm gonna get you back. I got you, motherfucker. I'm gonna work with you. But what's like something that you love about fighting? Like
everything. I love it. I don't know, that there's constantly something to learn. Like I said, I love that it allows, since I'm a teacher all day, I love that it allows me to be a student. I enjoyed school. I've always liked school. I've liked learning. I read for fun. I like always just trying to learn something new. And I've also grown up wanting to be good at everything I try. And so, like, my dad's big on playing instruments and that. So anything he taught me, I wanted to learn right away. Pick up. I wanted to be good at drawing. I learned how to do that. I wanted to learn how to cook. I did that. You know, so I always was like, you know what? I'm going to take on a new challenge. Fighting didn't naturally come easy to me, you know? Over time, I have to learn to get better at certain things. And so I like that it constantly gives me new little milestones to accomplish. I like testing myself and seeing, like, okay, like, belt ranks, for example, stuff like that, you know, accomplishing fights, accomplishing tournaments. Like, I love that. It just pushes me.
What belt are you right now?
I'm a blue belt.
Blue belt, what's up? That's what's up. And then I also seen a picture on your Instagram too that you have a belt.
Yes.
What was that?
That was for Cage Wars. Cage Wars was like doing really good and thriving at one point. They had some pretty nice organized shows and stuff, and so that was at Catchweight 150. And I've actually fought that girl twice, and we're actually really good friends now too.
That's what's up. And that's what I love about fighting, man. Like, after the fight, it's not even, like I said, I only had one opponent that was like, oh fuck you, bro, I won this fight, like, you know, I won it. But everybody else was like, oh man, like, let me get your Instagram, like, let's or whenever you want to come and train, let's train. I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool.
I feel like especially for women, there's not a lot of us in the sport, in this field, and I feel like we have to stick together, you know? We're over here in the male dominant sport, like, I'm trying to do our thing. So I've only ever had that one girl that you mentioned before, and then I had another girl that, like, I thought things were cool, but then, like, a random spam account sent me a screenshot of text messages with her, And they're like, oh, you lost to a teenager, blah, blah, blah. She was like, yeah, that was fat as fuck and has been training, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, like, we weighed in at the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, first of all. And then I was just like, that's been training. And I'm like, yeah, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
Like,
so were you not trained for this fight?
Yeah.
And she's actually a girl that, like, took me the distance, you know? And I subbed her by the second round, I believe, or end of the first. Either way, like, that was a fun back and forth fight at the time. But I was just like, hey, like, I didn't completely walk through you. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
you know, so
that's a good fight, yeah.
After that, I don't know. She felt a certain way. I didn't. Like I said, I feel like as amateurs, there's no need for any animosity, you know? So
what's, are you, when do you want to go pro?
Yes.
And when do you want to do that?
I'm pretty patient. I'm very trusting in my coaches, and when they believe I'm ready, I don't want to be a fighter that thrives in her amateur career and then I flop as a pro. You know, I'd rather build the hell out of my amateur career, get in as much experience as I can, and when everyone agrees that by everyone I mean like my coaches, when they agree that I am ready to go pro, then I'll make that jump. But I'm definitely not eager. I'm definitely, like I said, I like being a student. I'm not ever gonna if there's been times even recently, certain fights I wanted to take on and all that, and they think like, hey, not yet, you know. I'd be a little discouraged, but I'm like, you know what? They have my best interest, and I trust them. So just whenever they think I'm ready.
That's what's up.
Hopefully within the next few years.
Okay. So before anything, you have a clothing line? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Where the Cub? Yeah.
That's what's up.
This is my logo. I have this tatted on my leg right here, and I drew it myself as well. So
okay. Okay.
So Cub means a lot of things for me. My mom, we've always had the house decorated with like a lion theme. My mom loves the jungle, the lion theme. She loves what a lion represents, how strong it is. So she'd always call me her little cub. And then even being younger, I'm always very like jumping, play fighting, and pouncing on my dad. Doing that when I started jiu-jitsu. So she was always like, you're like a little cub. And I have the crazy curly hair. So she just always grew up calling me Cub. And so that's how that started. And then also this tattoo, my dad and my sister are Leos. And so lions just kept becoming a thing for me.
My wife is a Leo.
So, okay, nice. I click with Leos very well. A lot of my closest friends are Leos, so I always say this tattoo represents Cub, and this is also for my dad, my sister. It ties my whole family together.
That's what's up.
Especially as my mom, like, she's a very strong demeanor, very, you know, like.
Shout out to your mom. Shout out to your mom.
Definitely, she's a lioness, you know, and then so that's why Cub. I just feel like it ties my whole family together. And then Beware the Cub is actually really cute. One of my preschool old families back then, there was a mom, shout out to Jen.
Shout out to you, man.
Her and her friend Cindy, for my fight at the Del Mar Fair, they had like a cricket machine at home, and they started Beware the Cub for me. They just made 2 like jackets that said Beware the Cub, no logo, no nothing.
Nice.
And they were at the fairgrounds, and they were on top of a bar drinking, and they hung their hoodies over the thing so everyone could see Beware the Cub.
Yeah.
And everybody kept asking them like, "What's Beware the Cub mean?" You know? And they're like, "Oh, she's fighting tonight and all that." So they started that for me.
Nice. I like that.
I loved that. I was like, you know, right? Beware the motherfucking Cub.
I fucking like that. I like that.
Yeah, so we started hashtag Beware the Cub. I threw my lion logo. I try to keep my logo pretty simple, you know, just something that pops. And then I got in contact with that sponsor reached out to me. I tag him on everything, RMGFX1, and he was like, hey, like, he gave me that push to bring the clothing brand to life.
Nice, yeah.
By my second, third fight, people were like, hey, you should get shirts made. And it was just the confidence that I was lacking, you know? I was like, are people going to want to wear that or this and that, you know? And so finally he reached out to me and was like, hey, like, you should get something going, you know? So he gave me that push that I didn't have the confidence to do on my own. And it took off really good, actually. I've actually been selling a lot more merchandise than I expected. And
I was going to buy one, but then I just neutered my boy dog.
Ooh, that's pricey.
And so, like, when they hit me with that view, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
But I'm for sure going to get one because I like because I like reggae a lot. And
I do too. I love
it. I like the Rasta faith, and then Rasta is about lions, something like that. So I had dreadlocks at one point.
Oh, nice.
So when I seen your logo, I was like, oh, I like that shit. I like because it ties up everything that I like.
Simple,
You know what I'm saying?
Ties everything together.
Yeah, I was like, I like that. And Beware the Cubs. It's funny because the school across the street, that's where I went to. This is my elementary school across the street right here.
Okay.
And the logo's a cub.
Okay.
So I was like, and like their shirt was like the Cub. It's called Creekside So and I was like, oh, I was like, man, I like that. And I was like, the lion. I was like, I don't know about the lion. I was like, isn't a cub is like a bear? But I was like, oh, I was like, but it's a whatever.
Baby lion, yeah.
But and then I tied everything up together, like with the Rasta faith and like I like reggae a lot, and I was like, that sounds cool. And then I started looking at your clothing line. I was like, man, this shit is cool. Like and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy some. And then I was like, I'll buy it after I neuter this boy.
So it's gonna be up, yeah.
And then I was like, all right, for sure. And I was like, it's not gonna cost me a lot. When they said, oh, $400, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I have to wait for the next paycheck. But I am gonna order some more, and I'm gonna support you because like I told Jericho, I was like, hold on, let me. I'm gonna stop right there real fast. Like I was saying, like I told Jericho that when his next fights, I want to go. So whenever you fight again, let me know and I'll pull up. Because I like supporting people, I like.
And just a fun, like.
Yeah, heck yeah, it's a fun going.
I love going to fight.
Heck yeah, like.
That's why it's fun. I love fighting, but then the rare times when I do get to just go and like support my teammates that are fighting, it's fun to sit back in the audience and observe.
Yeah, and just watch them. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a fun environment. It's like whenever I'm trying to like get people to come to my fights, I'm like, hey, like. Bring your family, bring like your significant other. Like that's a fun date night if they're about it. Like, it's fun. And
my wife is all into that because she was a big supporter of me when I was fighting.
That's good.
And then like we'll watch UFC fights. She's like, what is he doing? I was like, he's about to do it. And because I be talking shit like, man, come on, you got the armbar right there, like but and she's like, oh, how do you know it's on war? Like how can you, like I'm gonna do that? You just when you fight,
it's cool
like
that she takes interest.
And then I taught her to do an armbar. And she goes, I want to get in a fight now. I said, what? So you could tell her or lay down so I could do an armbar? Like, no, like a fight is a whole different thing.
We start on the feet.
Yeah. And she goes, I just want to get in a fight, like, so I could do an armbar. And I was like, all right, for sure. Like, we could get down with me or something. But, I appreciate you coming by in the woods, this small little podcast that I have. Before you leave and before we end this, I have my guests always sign my tables.
Cool.
Don't cite inside the letter. Shout out to my boy Mark, Roxy, and fuck Robbie Rob, because he did it right when I was talking to him.
Didn't listen.
Yeah, they didn't listen at all. But you can sign on the table or you can sign back there, wherever you want to sign. Let me see if this marker works.
I'm so nervous. I haven't practiced an autograph.
And then after this, I'm gonna sell this shit when she becomes famous.
Nice. Got it. One shot. All right.
There you go. So guys, if you guys don't follow the podcast, make sure you guys follow the podcast. AB what the fuck? In the Woods Pod on Instagram. Make sure you guys tap in. I need more. I need guys to start following. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you tap in with me at ABCubanPR. Also, if you guys on TikTok, I'm on TikTok. ABCuban_PR. Where can they find you?
Cub_MMA on Instagram. That's kind of my main social media source. I have a Twitter, but that's all for the memes and stuff. So
yeah, I don't even hop on Twitter. I don't hop on Twitter.
And I promote everything on my Instagram. So Cub_MMA.
That's what's up. Where do you train at?
Carlson Gracie in Riverside.
Okay, tap in with them. Guys, I'm back putting the podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Make sure you guys go tap in. Everything's in the link below. What is next for you? Like, what's the next step for you right now?
Getting this arm better, and then hopefully I want to do some sort of jiu-jitsu tournament soon, or hopefully I want to do a bigger promotion, bigger fight by April or May. Okay. So definitely within the next few months, I'll be in the cage again. For sure. So if you guys want to go and see Cub fight or Jericho, because they're in the same fight camp, tap in. I will, when you guys have that fight, make sure you guys let me know so I can promote it too. Cool. Thank you. I can get you guys maybe some ticket sale. But man, I appreciate you coming to the woods. You're a Wood family now. So like anybody, if you come in here, you say I'm in the woods. Like I'm in the Wood family. I'm in the pack. So you say that. Is in the pack. So I have shirts. Nice. I have smalls only right now. I don't know if you could use those to train. You could do whatever you want. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying. Tap in with you. Make sure you guys go tap in. You guys go check her out. Great fighter. I'm telling you. I feel like you're gonna. If you keep pushing this, I think you will make it to the UFC. Thank you. Or whatever you want to go with it. If you don't, I mean, kids are always good. Kids are always good. But guys, always
Stay blessed. Be blessed. One love. Yeah, yeah.